Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Only Football. I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay, there we go. Okay, really getting adjusted to this. And the podcast. Anyone who's listening to the podcast, welcome back. Semifinals all wrapped up. I finally got to watch something.
Yeah, and you got the max amount of football, right? So
yeah,
can't complain.
That I did. Big week. Finals coming up. We're going to open up with a little paper talk, which really basically just comes straight down to PSG just snapping up everyone that's good for free. Every good free agent, PSG's like, yep, we'll take that.
We'll take it. Yeah, they got one goalie, one defender now, one midfield. All they need is a forward, right? And they need more, but they.
Do they need a forward? No.
Well, they did if you want to replace Icardi, right? Do they still have Moise Kean on loan, or is he?
I think Everton want to get rid of, are willing to get rid of him. Oh. I mean, I think he's class. I think PSG is a great spot for him. I think we've gone over this many times. Juve letting him go was a mistake.
Oh yeah, of course.
Everton. Let's try and move you over a little bit there, Mike. Everton. Just really not utilizing him well enough, and Calvert-Lewin has come good enough. So. I mean, it was a great pickup by PSG. They can let Icardi go.
They need to.
Yeah, right? let him go. Let him go. Do you need another forward? But yeah. So Wijnaldum's been there for about a good 2 weeks, I would say, maybe even 3.
3.
3 weeks. They just get Hakimi for about 70 million euros from Inter Milan, which I feel bad for Inter fans and Hakimi. Hakimi really didn't want to leave. He was very happy at Inter. But
they need to sell players.
They need to sell players because I don't know what's going on with the foreign investors that they have at that club and not actually necessarily putting enough money in anyway. And obviously they got hit by the coronavirus pandemic quite hard. But I don't know if it really justifies how badly they've been. They're looking for money. Conte's like, okay, well, you're not going to give me after winning the Scudetto. You're not going to back me whatsoever. You're looking to sell players. Forget about it.
If you want to win another Scudetto, you're going to spend more money.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Inzaghi's a nice hire by Inter. I think it's a good hire, but it really depends on who they lose throughout the rest of the offseason. If anyone, 70 million for Hakimi is a nice little pickup. And I think going into the transfer window, Inter were looking to sell on about 100 million worth of assets. So it's more or less there. I don't think it's all doom and gloom for Inter there. But back to PSG. Sergio Ramos just signs today or yesterday. I think it might have been yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday.
They made it official today, though.
Yeah, but it was pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered, which is great for PSG, not only because you get the experience of Ramos and someone who can still give a lot to a team. But I think it's a good pairing for him. He's getting on in age, but you have someone who can still deliver, and you want and you want Champions League, right? That's where you want him. And then they can move Marquinhos back up into the CDM role, right? And Marquinhos is doing phenomenally well at center back, but he'll do even better for them, and he has in the past at CDM. So it's great. And it looks like Donnarumma, once the Euros is done, will be moseying on over to Paris as well.
Yeah, same salary too. Or probably higher salary PSG, but he was willing to go to Juve for the same salary. Juve obviously said we need to take care of wing backs or defenders and center mid. That's the area of although it's we want to send a generational talent at Donnarumma, but they have to pass up this opportunity, unfortunately.
They're also looking PSG that is possibly Theo Hernandez from AC as well. That had an incredible season at AC. So I don't know, man. I mean, I've been liking the last couple of years to win Champions League, and now it just seems more and more get if you're betting, get it in now, because it was at 11-1 2 weeks ago, and they're at 9-1 now. So
it's only going to go down.
It's only going down. It absolutely is. So try to get in there before it's too late. If you're in the chat, somebody is. Feel free to pop in with any questions, comments, and all that jazz. Mike. We're going to talk a little bit about the Copa America. I haven't seen a lick of it, apart from some highlights here and there. And you know what? We were talking phone, and you're like, "Yo, you really don't care about the Copa." It's not that I don't care. It's for me to find the time is a little more difficult than it used to be, and always for me Euro first. So Argentina, Brazil in the final.
Dream matchup, dream final, what everyone expected. Argentina did, you know.
Do you expect it from Argentina? I mean, they haven't won the Copa since '93, and the Copa's what, every 2 or 3 years? It's something.
Yeah,
is every 3
I think
years?
it's every 4 years now. Again, that's what they're aiming for. But there was a 3 year stretch where I think it was back to back to back years, or at least back to back years, because they had the 100-year anniversary that was in America.
Okay.
That was on like in the States. That was a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure Chile won either back to back years or 2 out of 3 years, and they beat Argentina in the final both times.
Right.
But you know, they did. You know, Argentina. They beat Colombia. It was a good game. Beat them in a shootout. I only saw the shootout because I had practice, but you know, everyone once they got the shootout, they're expecting, okay, here comes Messi. He's gonna miss, you know, and if he misses, he goes first, and if he misses, then everyone else is deflated. Right? He roofed it. Great penalty.
Are you deflated? I mean, don't you kind of expect?
They think it's no, but they're thinking here we go again, right? Here we go again. But they managed to squeak out the shootout win with Messi and Martinez talking shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So a little context. Soren, I thought Soren was playing Rocket League, but hope they both lose. Yeah, I mean, something sinister would have to happen there.
Brazil should win.
I agree. I think Brazil, for me, are odds-on favorite, and they are actually based on the bookies. For me, they're my favorite for the World Cup. I don't see why they're not favorite. They are favorite in this match. They are for sure, and I just think there's a more well-rounded team front to back.
Yeah, and especially with Fred in the midfield.
Yeah, man, the guy's been getting minutes.
He's playing, man. He's starting. Paqueta has been pretty.
He had a good year at Lyon, man.
Yeah, I know.
He had a good year at Lyon.
He's good. He's really good.
But you saw that in his first. Joe says Martinez trash talk or thrash talk, even if you really want to take it, was wonderful. Yeah, I mean Martinez like thrusting the air. Even Messi getting in on it. Again, I didn't really watch, but I was reading up on him. Like even Messi.
I think that was during the game, though. I think after they scored,
I didn't see
dancing, and he said, "You dance, enjoy your dancing now."
Okay,
that's what he said.
Okay, Martinez, I thought it was during the penalties.
I think there was more trash talk. I don't know about the audibles during, but I know Martinez when Yerry Mina was taking the shot.
Oh, he's John on the whole time. I was reading that. It was like he didn't stop, and then a violent thrust. Hip thrust after they won.
Tina's 3 saves, all same side.
He's good, man. You saw it in Villa. At Villa, he's
keeper of the year, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And
did he win it?
He
was in contention, but
he was definitely in contention. Did Ederson win? It was either him or Ederson. Yeah. I want to say it was Martinez, or maybe it was because like a lot of sites and whatnot had their own team of the year.
Yeah,
Martinez was the one for a lot of team. But Mike. Okay. Again, I think Brazil more front to back, just more sound.
I think Argentina get it done this time. I think Brazil should win, but I think Argentina, this is a lot for Messi in his case. Obviously, people who think he's the greatest think he's the greatest. It won't change whether he wins or loses. But it would mean a lot for him to finally get an international trophy, because that's been the knock. He's not the same player,
especially when you're in South America.
I know,
that's the thing. Honestly, if it was reversed, and you had your Ronaldo fans and your Messi fans, and Ronaldo hadn't won the Euros, and Messi had maybe even 3 Copa Americas, that wouldn't phase me. That wouldn't phase me at all.
It wouldn't. But I think they actually get it done. A friend of mine said that I think the reason why the team around him in Argentina, they think too much how great he is, and when he gives them the ball, they always kind of look to give it back to him, saying oh, you know what, we should give it to Messi. He should always have the final decision. And a lot of people said that this year with Lautaro Martinez, he's the type of different forward that he's used to, with Higuain or Aguero, where he's not afraid to take the shot if Messi gives, or he's not afraid to give up the pass to Messi and take a shot at goal, because it's the right thing to do. He has that natural striker's mentality. Obviously, you can say Higuain obviously did, but he had missed chances in 3 finals.
It's an odd thing, you say that they Argentina look to give the ball back to Messi, and let him facilitate and make the killer pass.
Yeah, they put too much pressure on him.
Yeah, but it's an odd, for me. It's an odd one. That's an odd mentality for a team like Argentina. For me, and I think you'd agree that their weakness lies in the back, and you have ballers up front, and they always have had ballers when Messi's been there. So it's just odd that they would like like Di Maria, like he loves to take on. I just don't get that if that's the case.
I think this year they get it done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll be good for Messi. I'm at the point of my life where, I was, always Ronaldo over Messi.
Ronaldo fan,
Yeah, I still have Ronaldo over Messi, but like it's the twilights of their careers and they're still near the top. And I just want them both to do well in the final because like we're never going to see players like them again, I think. I know like every generation says that after their generational talents come, but the numbers they put up are just astronomical, and it's just
maybe the game just gets sillier and sillier, and it's just easier to score. Just like
their numbers are going to be there forever.
Yeah,
like forever.
Absolutely. Okay, on to the Euros. Before we do, shamelessly tell your friends to like and subscribe. All that jazz, all that shameless shit. We are going to do the Sears Cup again in probably a couple weeks. We'll have it in a couple weeks because the season's going to start in like a month.
Probably August.
Like beginning of August, I think is probably best. And that was a competition, if you don't know, where Mike, myself, and Guy, we set up our own point system for the top 5 leagues in Europe. And we had points for the winner, points for top 4, points for the Europa League, relegation. I think we should get rid of player of the season this year, but keep Golden Boot. Just floating it, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. Just floating that. And then if you should finish top over all of us, we will treat you to a $30 dinner with drinks on us. It didn't happen last year. TJ was the only one to join, and he came second. He lost to me.
Get it all out, man.
I will.
Inaugural winner.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna make myself a banner. But I'll say this right now. If you shamelessly tell your friends, by the end of the season, if we have 1,000 subscribers, which we won't, but if we do, I'll juice it to $100. And that'll be me. All right, I'll cover it. I'll do it.
100 subscribers, $50. There we go.
Okay.
Baby steps.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
100 subscribers, $50.
Yeah. Okay.
1,000 subscribers, $100.
We're at 14 right now, so
juice it up there.
Yeah. Okay, on to the Euros, and let's open with Spain and Italy, which was a really good match, man. Like honestly, Mike, we had reservations, especially you, about Spain's tournament, and they got lucky. I'll say the fact they got lucky by getting Switzerland, not France, but against Italy, it was a really good performance by the Spanish.
It was a great performance. I think they were the better team that match.
I think that's fair. Team. I don't think they walked it, but I agree with you. I think you can tilt it towards that. Anyway, go ahead.
Italy, first half were awful, and Spain dictated everything. They had Italy probably. I don't even think they had a shot in the first half. Did they?
They didn't. They had the crossbar by Emerson. No shots on target.
Oh right, yes.
No shots on target. They, Soren, I need to get a frame. I need to get a frame. But thank you for that. Next week, guaranteed. I don't think it looked. Spain were pressing. Spain were holding the ball, but it wasn't like what you saw in those first 2 matches of the tournament, right? They were actually cutting them open a little bit. Like Oyarzabal doesn't
had a horrible match.
He had a terrible match. He did make like a nice little layoff at one point, I do recall, but that was after missing 2 sitters in that first half. Spain break them down, cut open that defense, and the ball sitting there right for him. And
Pedri played that ball after me talking shit. I mean, he had a great game. Compared to the first 4 games, it was 100% better. He was actually more involved in the play and not just sitting back and making either sideways passes or backwards passes or meaningless forward passes. But it was a good game plan by Luis Enrique. I was very impressed because at first with the lineup, I was like, okay, this is a bit weird. Like you trust Morata the whole time, and now you get to a game
and defend him staunchly, during press conferences as well.
And then you just bench him. So I'm like, okay, and you don't even start Moreno either. So it's just like you went with a recognized forward.
Yep.
And basically played 3 wingers, and first half it looked great, and they should have been up on that.
The second half they were fine too. They didn't drop their heads after going down to that amazing case of goal. What a tournament that guy's having, and we were talking about. I think we feel like he should be the super sub.
Yes,
but hey, all right. I still think he should be. Personally,
he Mancini truly believes in him, and even after the first half of extra time, he was cramping, and you thought, okay, he's going to get subbed off going in the second half. He plays a minute, and he's like, okay, all right, I can't play, sub me off.
Yeah.
And then Mancini's like, all right, I guess he wanted to keep him for penalties, right?
Yes.
He was good penalty kick
Yeah,
takers.
absolutely. And you know, it's like Bernardeschi hadn't played much in this tournament at all. Too. It's like, what are you going to get from Bernardeschi? He ends up potting his penalty, but you know, you were looking at. I selectively go into penalties because Donnarumma really is just such a beast. But for me, it was when you look at that lineup that Italy still has the field, and like you've lost a number of your best scorers. Like you've already taken off Immobile.
He had a shit game.
Yeah, he'd have a terrible game. But I mean, we're just talking about a penalty here.
Yeah.
And I understand why you made that. Insigne's off too. That's the thing. And then
off. Yeah. I'm pretty sure who else was off. Maybe Verratti would have taken one, but I don't think he was ever.
He never does because you know that's a fine sub to take off Verratti around the 60th, which he has been for Locatelli. But yeah, sorry, Spain after that Chiesa goal, they didn't look nervous at all. Like the confidence is there, and I really have to say, like Luis Enrique has a squad there, and I think there's going to be other midfielders like that will be able to, like Rodri will be able to step in for Busquets in the next tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
They just need to sort out that out and out attacker. They have some good wingers. The midfield is there. They're dropping Pedri back. Ansu Fati's going to be, so long as he's healthy, as long as everyone's healthy. Ansu Fati's there.
They have the youth coming in.
Bringing in Laporte, like getting Laporte. Then you have him beside either Garcia or Torres. There's a squad there, and Luis Enrique.
Is he going to stay?
I think he absolutely should. I think he really wanted after that what happened to his daughter, which was very, very tragic. He kind of like fought to like get that position back because the guy who came in was trying to like keep him out of the job. It was actually like really fucked up. It's like he was a placeholder, and then Luis Enrique came back, and the guy kind of put up like a bit of a fight. Anyway. But I think he is. I think he sees it like his project, especially after that game. Unlucky to have lost, really. I would say. So,
have you? Quick question: have you ever seen on Morata's goal? Have you ever seen Italy been broken down that easily?
No, and
I've never like out of all the years of Italy teams watching
in meaningful matches like
it was so simple. It was just a drop back turn.
Chiellini really bit on that. I don't know why Chiellini followed. Was it Olmo? Who made it back off? It was Olmo, right? Yeah. He completely sucked into Olmo. I don't know why. It was a weird one.
It was just a 1-2.
It was very, very basic.
Right down the middle. It was not like down the side and then it was like a bunch of space. In the middle, there's supposed to be the least amount of space. Morata gets it, at the half circle, turns, takes about 3, probably 10-yard strides. Quick pass, Olmo right back to Morata, untouched, takes a touch, slots it in.
Very, very basic. I mean, and I'd say what I will about Raheem Sterling. He's very good at like little layoffs and like injury 1-2s and using speed and onto the final. Eventually we'll get there, but like that could be something that
I think they'll work.
I just think it was just a blip, really. But it was a weird one
in a game of that magnitude.
I know
it's like it's a good goal if looking from Spain's point, but it's a horrible goal if you're looking for Italy's.
It looks very smooth, but it was so smooth because of the abhorrent defending. It was an odd one.
At least they got it out of the way and they still won, right? And going into shootouts, I agree with you. Italy was always going to be the favorites because of Donnarumma.
Even after he missed for them.
For Italy. For Italy, Locatelli.
Locatelli missed. And I still wasn't like I still thought Italy had it.
Yeah, they missed again. Then it was
sure.
Gonna be. But I think there's a stat with Donnarumma. I think he's faced 43 penalties
in his whole career.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think including shootouts, I think.
Yeah.
And I think 17 have missed.
Just missed the net.
No. I think 17 or 18 have not gone in.
Yeah,
and I think 12 or 13 of those 18 had missed the net. It's because people are scared. He's 6'5", 6'6", and he just takes up the whole net, and then the net shrinks if you're, especially in a Euro semifinal, right? Sure. It's hard. It's like you're already nervous because you're like, okay, we could be one kick away in many instances from winning or from losing.
Yeah.
And I think the team in all the shootouts in Copa and Euros, the team that's gone first has won every time.
Really?
Yeah.
What this time? Like
this
year?
This Euros
this year.
and this Copas.
Okay.
That's the weird stat. So even though Italy went first and missed, you can't miss after a miss. If the other team misses, you have to score
Yeah.
to make that advantage really count.
Yeah.
And Olmo missing right after Locatelli
kind of sucks. It sucks when there's
yeah, it does. It does.
Was it Martin Tyler that was commentating on this match?
I'm not sure. I don't really care about the commentary.
Joe, that he is. He's super. I mean, the Joe, like that save on Olmo in the first half, that save on De Bruyne in the quarters, like he is like super fucking quick. And it's like you look at Courtois, and like Courtois like tall drink of water kind of thing. You know, like thinner frame. Donnarumma's like kind of beefy. I'm not calling him. He's not fat.
It's the pasta,
He's,
man.
it's the pasta, baby.
Baby face.
But my goodness, man, he is super quick. And yeah, he's top class. Honestly, I am disappointed that Raiola's gone into his head and he just doesn't have
the backbone.
No, I'm not going to call him a coward. I don't know. He's a kid who has a lucrative career ahead of him, but like to just be that AC Milan great.
Not anymore,
man.
Not anymore.
It is. Hopefully he pulls a 180, but we'll see. Okay, England, Denmark, and fuck, man. I just not surprised by the end result, but just the way it ended to me, this left such a sour fucking taste in my mouth.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Well, let's kind of take it off early. And England, even like Gareth Southgate,
probably gonna show
like City, seriously, like, and again, I say with Solskjaer, it's like he's very young, experienced, and like, man, he'd be gone under different ownership. But with Southgate, he's there and he's inviting pressure. Like Denmark actually had them hemmed in for a lot of the first half.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Like. Not creating clear-cut chances. That's what they want. Like Denmark weren't necessarily threatening all too much, but they creating half chances. Getting behind a little bit where England would recover nicely. And it's like that's Southgate. No matter who the hell you're playing, apart from Ukraine, but Denmark, on paper and going to the tournament, is not a team that England should be fearing. It should be the role should be reversed.
Yeah, they should be putting the pressure onto Denmark.
Yeah,
and not just. I guess. From the get-go, they said, you know what, no matter who we face, this is how we're going to play. And if we face someone who we actually think is better than us, we'll play even more reserved.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But still, I think that he just wants to shore up the defense. But he's, in my opinion, I would say he's focused too much on that and, in not putting teams on the back foot. Because it's good to put teams on the back foot to see how they respond, right? But he's never doing that.
You're still setting up with a pivot as well. Like if you're hemming the other team in, and you're the ones that are in control for the most part, you still have a back four and a pivot in there. Like you're not exposing yourself whatsoever, but the mentality and style of play can be changed, and you can obviously let one pivot go up. Like you send Phillips up the field a little bit more to kind of maraud on the edge of the box, but
or even just play a 4-1-4-1 or play Bellingham, who's a box to box.
That ship is sailed. I think it could have happened at the beginning of the tournament, and he came in against Croatia early, and then just kind of stopped. It's almost like it's the first game. It's the first game of the tournament. Like let's go get Bellingham the record for youngest player, which lasted like a week because then the Polish kid came in. But yeah, it's working, and that's what's pissing me off the most. That is what's killing me the most. And if it works, it works. But I am still banking on the fact, especially after such an easy bracket, relatively easy group, respectable group, but such an easy bracket. Say I told you so.
But they're in the finals. They haven't been to the finals since '66.
Mike, this could be a huge red herring for them. Though. They make the final, they lose, they don't get a trophy. They keep Southgate on this glut of talent that England have.
Maybe he adjusts, right? He can try more things.
I hope so. I'll back him if he does. But
for the tournament so far, is at the finals, he's going to have the same approach.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually kind of worried about the state of this final because when you get
it's going to be very cagey.
So cagey. I think it's going to be so fucking cagey.
I think it's a 1-0 final, but
and not like an entertaining one, not like a PSG Bayern one, no.
I know, but that could have been like 3-2.
It could have been, yeah.
PSG missed so many chances.
Yeah, but like we're not getting these chances. That's what I'm thinking. That's weird thing too. We just found out we're on the same page here because you get finals, you get the Champions League final, you get Europa League finals, you get the World Cup, you get the Euro Cup. A lot of times they disappoint most of the time actually. And then when you bring in a team as negative with a negative approach that England has,
Yeah, some will say it's negative, some will say it's positive.
It's positive. Well, a win is a positive. I'm just saying, from a neutral perspective, you're trying to like bring, and I hope we're wrong. Of course I hope we're wrong, but we're surmising that you're trying to bring a friend into like maybe get into football. Like, let's check out the Euro 2025. Like this is the final. Like I don't know. That's
no team wants to make them first mistake.
No, absolutely
right?
not.
That's what finals are always about.
Absolutely not. Yeah, and you kind of feel like Italy might just actually like tap into like what we knew Italy to be for basically forever, more or less until this tournament.
Yeah.
Actually, who've been extremely fun to watch and entertaining. They seem to they need to tighten the screws a little bit. There were a lot of loose passes from Barella. I thought Barella had a good match, but a lot of loose passes in midfield there.
Yeah, I think Enrique did a good job of taking out the midfield and making them run with all the passing. And he said, you know what? It will be easier to break down their defense if we take out the midfield. And I think Spain did a good job of making Italy's midfield very irrelevant.
Yeah, fair enough. It was like a lot of the success that Italy were getting, or potentially were balls in behind.
Yeah,
and Spain held a great line for the most part as well. Even the goal, like Laporte made a great tackle, it just kind of fell to Chiesa, and then he did wonderfully well. But back to the England Denmark match. Great goal from Damsgaard, but a good goal.
I think it's a good goal.
It's not great. It's not
a good goal.
When you saw it live, you're like, oh, let's go.
When I saw it live, I'm like, okay, it went in, but I'm like, where did it go? Right, and I'm like, it was still pretty central.
It was very central. That was like a third of the goal. And what was it like? We knew
T-Rex arms. T-Rex arms.
John wasn't hearing it. Like, dude, he got a finger on it. Any other keeper that didn't have a little T-Rex
gets a hand on it.
Get a strong hand.
Stop. Or even because it went over the wall and down. It was perfect distance to get it up over the wall and down. Yeah. Right, Damsgaard
good pace, but he could afford to put more pace on it.
Yes, and Pickford, he's a great goalie. Shorter arms than the average goalies.
And yes,
right.
Yeah,
we all know that, and having to set up a wall, and they even had the wall jump, and Phillips was lying underneath, so you got the maximum distance covered from the wall. It still went over, and it was able to dip down. Because the wall's there, he obviously has to set up on the left side of the goal, and if it goes over the wall, he has to be able to move over and get it. From the kick, he reacted late, and if you have short arms, it's not gonna help.
Sorry, it's just kind of funny. If you have short arms,
if you have shorter than average arms for a keeper, reacting late is never good, right? He didn't, because you acted late. He still did a decent job to get a hand on it, but the reaction was what killed them.
It's a biological problem.
But still, can't take away from Damsgaard free kick. It's a good free kick, not a great free kick.
England responded very nicely. Sterling missing a.
They responded how they should have started.
Yeah, that's just like why, man? Because they're like united, like they're actually like united.
Wait to
go down. It's like, we have the talent to actually take to this team.
But they haven't been going down.
They haven't been going down. Funnily enough, me and John, a couple of John's friends, watching the match, and literally, like, when that free kick was lined up, we haven't seen how anyone will respond. And they respond, and then Damsgaard scores. But it was a good response. But yeah, man, it's like especially against Denmark.
Yeah.
You could do it. You could do it against anyone in your group stage. Could have done it against a German team that was kind of out to sea a little bit in terms of who they were, lacking identity. They could have been doing it the whole fucking tournament. Don't tell me you're going to start doing it against Italy now.
No,
you're not.
You're
absolutely not.
But I think it was important for them to get that time goal before half, because being down 1-0 at half at home, the fans would have
dwelling on it at halftime.
And this is the England team that, because they're at home for pretty much every game except for one.
The easiest one.
They are a team that feed off their fans. So even in the Scotland game, even in the Czech Republic game, it was a bit uneasy. With the Czech Republic game, they already knew they qualified, but they wanted to qualify first, knowing that if they did qualify first, they would get that home game in round of 16 against whoever it was in the group of death. But good for them for equalizing before half, because if it was 1-0 at half, it was going to be eerie, and they might have exposed themselves too much, and Denmark could have countered.
Speaking of exposure and countering, he falls in this category for many reasons. But Kyle Walker's actually had a pretty damn good tournament.
Yes.
Whereas, like, made a great recovery in that first half when it was at 0-0. He's been sound, at least from what I've heard and from what I've seen throughout the tournament.
It's his
I'm
pace.
waiting.
It's
It is his pace, but he's misplaced some passes. He hasn't been burnt yet. I'm like, what?
He never gets. Well,
no. Like Kyle Walker will make big mistakes, and then the team will get killed.
Yes.
And I'm waiting, and I'm like, are we gonna? Is Kyle Walker going to show the hide, the Jacqueline Hyde of Kyle Walker? Is that going to show in the final? Are we going to get that? I'm just waiting for it, man. Because honestly, Insigne's had an excellent tournament. It's too bad Spinazzola's injured. But Emerson might have a few notes on him.
Yeah, he had
over the years.
Hit the cross or whatever you want to call it, the crossbar post. What was it?
I think it was the crossbar.
Yeah. And even had a run before that where he should have played it, but tried to dribble. And
he was good.
But you know what? I guess it's time to get to the topic, right?
Yeah. Let's fast forward. Before we get into extra time, I was thinking to myself I was saying the depth that England has, Denmark just doesn't have it. I don't think they're going to be able to withstand half an hour of England, especially in the last 5-10 minutes of the 90. England we're really pushing too.
Yeah.
And I was they're not going to be able to withstand half an hour. But the way that they lost it, it's just so fucking wrong, man.
It was in I was joking in our little group chat, that Southgate hasn't made any. Well, he made one sub, and Jack Grealish is the super sub for the tournament. And we've all discovered that. But up until the 96th minute, 97th minute, that's when he finally made another substitution. I think it was Foden over Mount.
Yep.
And I'm like, you have so many options, right? And you're lacking creativity, and you have so many creative players on the bench. You need different ideas to break down this Denmark. Although they were tired and everyone was cramping up, Vestergaard was out, Christensen was out at this point. Mm-hmm. Vestergaard came off to a goal, but you could see he was tiring. He just didn't sub anyone in. He has his favorites, which are clearly Kane and Sterling, and they're going to play 110 minutes or 120 minutes. I guess you want Kane in for the shootout because he's your penalty kick taker. But Sterling, he played an amazing game.
He did a good match.
He was
a couple instances where bad pass or the ball gets away or something like that. But
he was still running. He was still there.
10 take-ons. He had a good match. But it's man, you gotta learn to you have Sancho there. You got.
I know.
He's fucking Ollie Gareth Solskjaer. All right.
Ollie going to Southgate.
Yeah, I'm gonna work out soon. I'm gonna kind of sleep on that one and see what sounds best. But it's in a way it's working, but you gotta be frustrated if you're an in-tune English fan at times. What is? And then you get the win, you kind of forget about it,
But it's how they got the win, right? The controversial moment and Cole.
Great run with a second ball in the field.
Yes, I can't believe you didn't see that live.
I did.
I'm like, okay, I guess they don't, because they're in an attacking position, they don't stop the play, because usually you're supposed to stop the play.
Yeah,
right? But I'm like, I guess it's an attacking position they'll play on. Still, he was dribbling to the sideline, and I get that there was always the threat of the ball across, right? But they didn't need to tackle him. Do I think it's a penalty? No, that's my stance. Okay,
but don't give the referee the decision.
Yes,
which is your thing, through and through, and it's a fair thing to say.
He was going nowhere.
He was going nowhere.
I guess he could have went to the line and cut it across, but
it's pretty tight.
It is tight,
he was tempted. I absolutely see where you're coming from. It's just such a shame, Mike. I take your point. You are right, and you agree that's not foul. But what the fuck is VAR even there for?
I know, but once he made the call, it was never going to, because it was never going to be 100% in everyone's eyes. That was a clear and obvious error. For me, I said it was a 90% not a penalty, but because the ref called a penalty, it was going to stand. If he didn't call a penalty, VAR still would have looked at it, right? And probably would have said something in his ear. He probably may have looked at it, but he would have looked at it and said, no, I think if he didn't call a penalty, it would have stayed a non-penalty. And in my opinion, it was in the second half of extra time. Well, even before extra time, it was a penalty on Kane, that he called a foul on Kane, Remember that?
Oh, the stand-up when he stood up. When
No, at the box.
Oh,
you remember that?
Okay, but he called the foul on Kane before though.
Did he? Is that?
Yeah, that's because Kane pulled down. I forget who it was.
I
And
don't
then
even
the ball
think
fell.
that was-
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
that was a
I'm pretty
penalty.
sure. I'm pretty sure that's where he called it. Yeah.
But even in the second half of extra
I don't know if
time,
that was the two. I think
in the second half of extra time, there was even there was a penalty that I thought was more of a penalty than Sterling's.
But
and
it
he
wasn't.
said play on.
But it wasn't.
I think that was more of a penalty.
When they stood him up. Was it someone like run to Vestergaard or something? Is that what
no, Vestergaard was already off. It was in the second half of extra time.
Like the defenders was basically just didn't really move and just kind of put up.
It was that the guy took I forgot who it was the play. He took a touch too far, and the guy he did move.
If we're thinking the same thing, soft still. Maybe more.
I think it was more. I think it was
Fine.
more.
Doesn't make it right. Tanya Manikatala. Sorry if I butchered that. I don't know if it's coming home or not, but it's clearly diving home since yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll drink to that. I don't have a beer today. What's the whiskey? What's going on?
It was. Oh my goodness.
I feel like if I was drinking whiskey right now, we were talking this. I don't know. Something flips.
And it's just unfortunate because, oh my God, he made the save too, and it just went right back to Kane. He just slaughtered it.
Yeah, and you know what, man? And the commentary was like kind of slating Schmeichel for not holding on to.
Oh, okay, he made the save. That's all you. That's all you do.
I know. It's like get off his back. You save a penalty. You have like no time to react, man. Like. Yes, it was there, but you're not also not expecting Kane to like actually take such a poor penalty, so you're adjusting to that as well. Whereas if it had been a slightly better penalty,
because he had to come back in, right?
Yeah.
He pretty much hit his stomach or his chest and came out. He was expecting it to it's Kane, right? You expect a good penalty from Kane, especially when leading up into the Germany game. He said, if it goes to shootout, we're ready. We're ready mentally to take Germany in a shootout, and he didn't show it in that penalty, but he gets his name in the paper. Sterling does too, and of course, all the English pundits say it's a foul, it's a penalty. It's especially Carragher. You hear what Carragher said?
No.
Because was it 2 years ago when PSG beat Liverpool, and he was like, "Oh, they should." I don't know how they. I think it was Neymar and Mbappe. They go home to their wives or whatever, and can look them in the face. And yesterday. He thinks it's a clear penalty, and I'm like, that's such bias.
If the shoe fits,
the English bias is so bad.
It's gross.
So bad.
It is gross. It is gross. And when we get in the transfer window, we'll be talking about De Gea and Henderson. You'll see. You want to talk some English bias right there. Okay. On to the final preview. Quick. We've kind of broken both teams down a decent amount, and we've been kind of suggesting and kind of touching on the final itself. We're both kind of thinking that it's going to be a really tight, cagey affair, wouldn't even mind going for a smoke break halfway through, like the first half kind of thing. Yeah. Like, you don't think you're, but it's like, if I go, I might miss like the one thing that happens, Mike, where do you think this match is going?
I think it's going to shootout.
Okay, so Mike, I have this domino effect theory, all right? And it's, the ref will be the key. The ref is the Dutch. What's his name again? He refed the Czech and the Danes. The Danes and the Belgians,
Hankes, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Is it Haneke or Hankes or like I believe so.
But Mike, I have this domino effect theory, and I hope I'm wrong. Switzerland beat France on pens. Spain beat Switzerland on pens. Italy beat Spain on pens. England beat it.
No, but it's Pickford versus Donnarumma in the shootout match. Yeah, let's be real. If it goes to a shootout, it's gonna be Italy.
It's a great
unless if Italy missed
that's the level of punch you're getting right here. It's like this weird bullshit domino effect.
Who are you more confident if it goes to penalty shootout?
Donnarumma, 100%, man. 100%.
If you're England, you've won one shootout. Well, technically they won two now.
I wouldn't go on the history thing. It does come down to keepers for me.
Yeah, it doesn't come down. I think history comes. That's a big thing. Generations worth of missed shooters.
I think it would follow into this match, and fittingly, like Italy probably. I'd say like going into a penalty, Italy, England, Pickford versus Donnarumma. I'd say it's probably 70-30 for Italy. I actually would like that high in Italy's favor.
Yeah, I would say 75-80.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Fair enough.
Who on England would you be confident to beat Donnarumma, especially in a final at home with all that pressure and seeing this big monstrous person?
Tanya, we touched on that at the beginning of the episode, so I want to wrap up here. First 5 minutes, so we pretty much talked about PSG. I know. I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. But I think the fact that just based on paper, if you just like took the countries away and you said the players, just based on paper, just because we both think that, and I think many would agree that Italy is the favorite based on who they have. The history doesn't come into it as much for me. It's like they didn't lose because of their poor history. They lost just because
it plays in the back of every Englishman's head. Shootouts. They fear shootouts. They do. And you know what? What I'm worried about this game is if England can score in the 90, because if they can score in the 90, if they score first, which I really hope they don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Italy are a better team than Denmark, but like no team is like broken down England.
Yeah. Not at all.
And I don't know if Italy can do it.
There's obviously
they need to score first.
Teams have had
there
chances.
Is going to be a goal. Yeah, they've had chances.
To consistently break them down and also put them away. Nothing's happened. It's been a penalty. It's been a free kick.
If England score first, I think they're going to win. I think it's going to come home. Do I want it coming home? No, I want it being Italy. But I think
it's coming Rome. That's the one, right?
It's coming Rome. Yeah.
It's some good signs, eh? These Italians. What's with all the English right now? It's like, do the English?
They're just too fucked up. They're just too fucked up. The fans you're talking about?
No, they have but all their signs are written in English. Like the English media write these signs for the.
No, because they want it to be shown, right? And they want, I guess, more people speak English in the
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just wondering if they take it for themselves, or it's like actually. It's like
they want it. You bring a sign to hopefully be on TV.
No, absolutely. Right? I just wouldn't be surprised if it was a plant.
And if you're in London, they're going to show English signs. They're not going to show Italian signs. Unless if someone scores and it just happens to be an Italian sign. Yeah. But if they want to be on TV, I think that's why they write it in English. Since more.
Just wondering if you thought maybe it could also be a plant. That's your.
Oh.
Hey, it's just for the cameras, right? The cameras for the cameras. It's. I see where you're coming from. England score first, and then they can probably sit back. I do think that I would by no stretch count Italy out. I think they really do have the ability to break them down. And if England approaches the game like as negatively as they did against Denmark, I mean, dude,
Italy should win.
I'm
really hoping
that they sit back like that. And I don't see what would change with them. I think the thing
maybe. Do you think they still start Saka?
He had a good game. I think so. I don't think he's changing that lineup. I don't think he's changing the lineup at all.
Well, hopefully he plays Saka. Thank God. Actually, Saka can do damage against Emerson, I think.
Yes, and I would say he had a pretty good match against Denmark. I don't know. I do think it's going to be like relatively dull, but
I'm scoreline yet.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Italy in extra time. I think Italy will just.
You think the final's gonna overachieve? It's gonna over.
Not that yes, based on like the end of it, but I do think it's gonna be dull. And it just might kind of be like a little blow up near the end where it's like need a little peg back. Even the team that's losing 1-0, happy to keep it within that one goal for a long time, and then maybe getting one last like 15 minutes or so too. And especially I think England. I think Italy go. This is just me. I'm going to go from back to front. I'm going to say Italy go up 1-0. England are happy to kind of like keep it tight and just make sure it's 1-0, and then within the last 15 minutes tie it up. And Italy are like, you know what? We have the quality here. Obviously, England do as well, but we have the mentality to go forward and get this done and snag one before penalties. The thing is that Italy are going to be extremely weary of that counterattack because that's how England are setting up.
Neither team has won a Euro, have they?
Italy's won once in 1968.
Oh, okay.
2-1 Italy in the 90s, says Joe. Okay. All right. Hey, I'll take that.
I'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, even 2-1 extra time.
I'll take 2-0 Italy. Actually, I would take that. But I'm going to Italy in shootout. I'm thinking it would be just so poetic for English fans, like to lose in a shootout. Like they finally make the finals and they lose in a shootout at home.
You did see that in the like going to the quarters.
Yeah.
At this point, I just bet on England to lose in a shootout. You're almost there, man.
Almost. It would just be so. So I can just picture the fan, but it's never coming home.
Yeah.
Well, the Euros have never come home.
Cassius Schmeichel really, really stuck it to him. That was great. I don't know if you guys saw that, but yeah, I'm sure you did. You want to stop it's coming home? Has it ever come home? Anyway, Joe will take anything. Yeah, anything, anyone but England. Okay, that's where we're at on this channel, and we're in the majority on that one. Okay, guys. Joe, Soren, Tanya, thanks for joining in. And anyone else listening, follow us at OnlyFootballPod on Instagram. And also remember to shamelessly tell your friends to like and subscribe. to juice that Sears Cup pot up. All right, we're gonna have those ready for you in a couple weeks. Take care.
See you guys. Forza Zuri.
Yow and that.